This is not like those videos which tell you, put your money into index funds and you will be rich in 30 years. Or the 50/30/20 rule. I think most of you will have already heard about that. So, let us start after you subscribe. So, the first practical concept to make your first $1 million goes back to high school physics. Some of you might have hated physics like me, but hear me out. Because the goal of this video is to make our first $1 million, and not Newton's law, etc. There is the concept of input and output that is taught in physics that based on the how people in the Forbes list of billionaires made their money is really crucial to wealth building. Based on that understanding of input versus output, the old-fashioned financial world puts their faith in one formula. Wealth equals money times rate times time. In other words, take money out of your own business or salary and invest it in other businesses through the stock market. Or, you must take on more risk to increase your rate of return. Or just wait it out 30 years or more and given enough time you will be wealthy. And as they'll tell you, you really should have started saving earlier. This is the accumulation mindset. And while the numbers are sound in a sense, the idea may be intellectually bankrupt in a world where most people live paycheck to paycheck. There is a better way, a better equation. One that doesn't focus on taking wealth out of your business and locking it away for 30 years, but instead focuses on exchange, value, and the movement of your money, i.e. cash flow. Most people are convinced they have to work hard today, grinding themselves to the bone, so that they can be wealthy and happy 30 years down the road. And this is a tragedy, because it's just not so. If you stop thinking of wealth in terms of accumulation, and instead focus on cash flow, I believe you'll actually end up wealthier in the long run, and you'll live wealthier along the way. Well, the blueprint to wealth I am talking about is money equals output, divide, input. Here's what it means. Maybe you're putting in 40 to 50-hour weeks or longer, plus investing considerable capital to make your business work. That's your input. The output is what you get for working so hard. And remember, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So, it's how much cash flow goes into your personal account after taxes and other business expenses are considered. The secret to wealth, according to the Wealth Billionaire's Blueprint, is to increase your output faster than your input. Or better yet, to increase your output without increasing the input at all. In other words, improving your positive cash flow without working harder, without investing more money, and without taking more risks. And the best, fastest way I've found to immediately improve your cash flow without working harder is to stop overpaying the government, stop overpaying the banks, stop overpaying Wall Street and big insurance companies. You can save tens of thousands of dollars per year just by doing these 3 things. Concept 1. Here's a controversial point. What if instead of funding retirement accounts full of mutual funds using the old-fashioned wealth equation, you kept the money as extra cash flow and saved it to invest in your own business? Even a basic savings account can be a good place to put it, but there are places to put your money that earn a much higher return and still provide liquidity. Surprisingly, permanent life insurance can be a great fit if set up properly. Now, instead of investing money in other companies that you don't know, understand, or control, you have money ready to invest in your own business, where the returns are often the greatest, and you have increased your output without increasing your input. Take Eric Yuan, the founder of Zoom, as an example. He was an employee at Cisco Web Conferencing and earned around $70,000 a year, instead of saving his money in a retirement fund. He instead had a savings account through which, after working for Cisco for a few years, he started his own business, the company Zoom, a web conferencing application that is worth over $6 billion currently. Now, you might argue that you are not in the tech industry, but also take the example of Soichiro Honda, who was the founder of Honda. Well, he was an employee at Toyota too, but he, however, saved his money and started Honda company valued at over $40 billion, but was once a motorcycle repair company less than 60 years ago. The old-fashioned wealth formula asks you to divert money away from you and your business until 30 years down the road when you can finally and hopefully enjoy it. But as an entrepreneur, you are your greatest asset, and anything that constricts or restrains your momentum slows down your personal money blueprint, thus your ability to grow and enjoy wealth. Instead, embrace a better wealth equation that works with your strengths rather than against them. Increase your personal income and use the extra output to fuel what you're best at, building wealth in your business. Concept 2. How can you get the IRS to pay you, or at least, you pay them less? Based on a Govkin.com study in 2019, They found out that 9 out of 10 businesses overpay for taxes. That is regardless of whether they were paying for a high-priced accountant or not. That is sad, but no surprise. The federal tax code and supporting documents to help tax lawyers, accountants, and CPA understand and navigate taxes totals more than 70,000 pages long. Without a production-minded accountant who specializes in your area of business, identifying and claiming all of your tax savings is an impossible task. So, it is important to find an accountant who specializes in your area of business to see if they can spot any savings. If you already have an accountant, make sure that you haven't outgrown them by getting a second opinion on your tax returns, at least every 3 years, because that is how long the IRS gives you to go back and amend past returns. By working with an accountant in your specific niche, say, you are in the automotive business, do not go looking for an accountant who has specialized in the finance or retail sector. Through this, you can benefit from the quote-unquote second opinion and collected rebate checks from the IRS of the taxes that you overpaid in the past years. Through this method, various small businesses have received a paycheck of over $100,000 from the IRS and saved more than $50,000 annually going forward. That's $50,000 straight to output, without increasing your input. I've also personally witnessed business owner after business owner improve their cash flow by taking a closer look at their loans. Sometimes it means consolidating several loans into one to get a lower minimum payment and hopefully a better interest rate. Sometimes it means cashing out low-performing investments when you can get a higher return by paying off high-interest loans. And there are other creative strategies as well, such as refinancing equipment, cars, or your mortgage at a low interest rate to access money to pay off your high-interest loans. It is not uncommon for the business owners to free up even $10,000 per month or more just by restructuring their loans, and it all goes straight to output, increasing your personal money blueprint. Concept 3. This involves leverage and risk. Leverage can have negative connotations, a power dynamic that gives you an upper hand in negotiations. Or, from a financial lens, loading up your balance sheet with debt. This isn't the type of leverage I'm talking about. To me, leverage is creating assets and maximizing their utility. In other words, getting everything you can out of all you've got. We all have one input to creating leverage. That is time. How we choose to invest that time correlates to the potential leverage we can create. We can spend it. 1. Developing relationships, partnership leverage. 2. Honing your craft, specific knowledge leverage. 3. Hiring employees for your business, labor leverage. 4. Raising capital, capital leverage. 5. Reading and consuming educational content, knowledge leverage. 6. Messing around on social media, social leverage. 7. Watching Netflix, no leverage. Over time, this combination of leverage builds you as an asset. In other words, you invest this time developing yourself. When you start a business, you're creating a replica of yourself. You create a separate vehicle that you control and own. Your goal as a founder is to help this vehicle create its own leverage by leveraging labor, hiring employees, and capital, funding. The outcome is an asset that can create unlimited leverage. You own a piece of this asset that grows and creates leverage without your input. So now you may wonder, why doesn't everyone start a business? Well, it is because one's ability to create leverage comes with accountability and risk. Employees have limited leverage. Despite how hard or how many hours an employee works, their income is always capped. This is because there is little to no risk involved. The monthly paycheck is certain. They are guaranteed paid leave and public holidays. Freelancers accept more risk than employees. The accountability is high as there is no one else to blame. Work is not guaranteed. Leverage is also limited due to hours in the day. Factoring this risk, a freelancer's income is often lower than the salary they could be paid as an employee. But this extra risk they are taking is offset by time leverage, freedom. Freedom to work their own hours. Freedom to make their own decisions. Business owners design vehicles to create leverage. They build machines which create financial and time leverage for the founder. The business leverages other assets in the form of labor, capital, and products. The leverage potential is unlimited. Investors leverage capital. Think real estate and equity investors. Capital is a powerful form of leverage. It scales really well, but it's hard to obtain.